Hey friend, today is the waxing crescent moon in Sagittarius. A few days back we went and we talked about how we had our new moon in Libra, and we also discussed setting intention towards taking the initiative in the areas of our lives that require more balance as well as fairness at the moment. So we also talked about how taking the initiative is something that we're being asked to do right now in order to kind of co-create some of these relationships that we want to foster in our lives. So whether that's romantic, whether that's business, that's kind of up to you and your personal interpretation. However, most of it, more of it, may more lean towards that more romantic relationships, those dating life, the dating life, love life, right? So we went over these intentions because this is the energy that the new moon supports. And now that you have these intentions and these ideas and these things ruminating in your mind about what you'd like to accomplish this month in the realm of balance, contracts, again, personal relationships, romance, business, etc., now we get to go a little bit deeper. Now is the time for that manifestation. Now is the time for painting a picture of what it is exactly that you want it to look like. So if you want to take you can look at it this way. The waxing crescent energy of the moon, that's the stage that we're in right now. That's the phase we're in. We're in the waxing crescent. So this energy, this is what supports the manifestation. And the reason for that is because the waxing crescent is the first light of the moon that we get to see when the moon comes back, right? So when I say come back, think about this way long ago, way back in the day. These folks used to look up into the sky and the moon would go dark and they'd go, oh my gosh, the moon's gone. Where did it go? It's done. It disappeared, right? And so when they could actually see that sliver of light come back, it was like, oh my gosh, it's magical. Oh my gosh, there is this silver lining that is kind of showing through the darkness, penetrating through the darkness. And so it was a big deal back then, and it carried a lot of this magic, this manifestation ability, right? So not to say that this isn't something that it still is kind of today. It's not like it's lost its importance or anything like that. But, back then, again, it was like there's no light at night. It's dark. And then all of a sudden this sliver of light comes in, and it's like this little sliver of hope, right? This little silver lining that the moon is coming back, the divine feminine has returned, and things like that. So this energy of the waxing crescent is that silver lining for the rest of the month, that little sliver of hope. What is it that you want to accomplish? Well, now you get this little light that shows, okay, now we're going to get some direction. We're going to get some kind of download. We're going to receive some of the answers that we have been kind of searching for what we want to accomplish this month. And so when you think about this, we're talking about the moon, right? And the moon is the symbol of the divine feminine in a physical form. So the moon is the divine feminine. And the feminine is not a go-getter. The feminine is not to go out and push and pursue and to be ambitious in an outward external way. The feminine is about calling things to it, calling people to it, attracting, mesmerizing, magnetizing, right? That's why when you go outside and you look at the moon, it's magnetizing. It is luminous, it brights up the night sky, and you can't not look at it. It sucks you right in. That is the divine feminine. And so a part of the manifesting part of the moon and a part of the manifesting energy, it comes with that inherent feminine energy, because it is that feminine that manifests, right? So this is that kind of silver lining, all right? And this is what you can use during this time to call things to you, to call people to you. So what we're going to talk about today is that's kind of where that kind of misconception comes from with the whole you can manifest during a new moon, because way back in the day, again, they actually considered that silver lining, that waxing crescent, was the new moon because that was the first light that they could see. But now we know the new moon is when it is dark just before it comes back, right? Where it completely resets. And then the first sliver of light is the waxing crescent, and that is the manifesting. So we've set our intentions. We've wrote down all these lists of ideas of what we want to accomplish. And now with the waxing crescent, now we get to flesh those out. Now we get to manifest, right? So today is all about manifestation. So we have some super powerful manifesting energy going on right now, specifically because this waxing crescent, not only is it a waxing crescent, but it is a waxing crescent in Sagittarius. Okay? So if you don't know what this is, I don't want to lose you in terminology, so please don't tune out just because I'm saying astrological terminology. But Sagittarius is one of the zodiac signs that is ruled over by Jupiter. And in fact, it is the dominant sign that is ruled over by Jupiter. And if you don't know who Jupiter is, you don't know what Jupiter is, I'm going to tell you. Jupiter is the planet of generosity and expansion. Jupiter is the planet of luck and prosperity. And so with this waxing crescent, this manifesting juju going on right now, when you're putting that in the constellation of Sagittarius, which is this expansive, this blessing, this luck, this adventurous vibration, this frequency of the Sagittarian energy, that kind of multiplies that manifesting power, because Jupiter rules over Sagittarius and Jupiter wants to bless you. Jupiter wants to give you what you want. And that's why manifesting is so important, because what you're calling to is what you'll get. So if you're ruminating with dark thoughts in your head and things like that of how things aren't going to work out and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, Jupiter's going to give you that because it thinks that's what you're trying to call to you and to challenge yourself. But for those folks who are able to have these more kind of optimistic, positive outlooks and have these goals that they want to kind of set for themselves and try to see the best scenario possible, then Jupiter's going to go, oh, okay, so you want more of that optimism, you want more positive outcomes, you want more of an impact that is a positive impact, I'm going to give it to you. And so that is why right now is going to be very important for you to manifest. So again, I don't want you to trail off. I don't want you to get lost from some of the terminology, but this is what we're going to do, okay? This is what you'll want to do with this energy, okay? So take out that piece of paper, right? Or that journal that you were writing on, and look at that list of all those ideas that you brainstormed on what your intentions were for this lunar cycle, for this month, for the next 4 weeks. What did you write down? And this, as we talked about last time, was this new moon in Libra with a little bit of that Mars energy. Remember how we talked about that Mars energy and taking initiative? Well, what's great is that this Mars energy rules over Aries, right? And Jupiter, where's Jupiter right now? Jupiter is still in the constellation of Aries. Now, it is in retrograde, and I'll tell you what all this means, okay? Jupiter being in Aries means that we are being called to basically decide and take initiative and make a decision on what are our beliefs. What do you believe right now about the state of the world? What do you believe right now is your role in the state of the world right now? And what can you co-create? What can you create for your life based on these beliefs, right? Now, with this being retrograde, what that means is that the planetary energy is going inward. So Jupiter is saying, hey, during this time when you're manifesting, I want you to take a really good deep look, go very deep inward, get a little introspective and say, okay, what is it that I actually believe? And is that belief true? Or am I looking for external validation or external circumstances that essentially strengthen those beliefs, right? Which may not actually mean that those beliefs are true, but you're finding examples of how they fit the story that you're telling yourself. So that is what kind of this Jupiter energy is going for, right? So anyways, all you need to know is that this energy is really, it means that you're going to be blessed when you take action, right? Because Jupiter is in Aries. We talked about that Mars conjunction last time, the last video. And so there's really, really, really an emphasis on being decisive and taking action, just doing something. Even if you don't know what, you pick something and just run with it and see how far you can go. And somewhere down that line, you're going to start to figure out the real answers. You're going to start to figure out if that is truly what you want or not. But it has to start from getting some momentum going in your life. So with this waxing crescent phase, again, look at those intentions that you set for yourself in the realm of relationships, contracts, business, fairness, balance. Look at the entire list. And now with this waxing crescent energy, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one. Just pick one. And if you can't pick one, flip a coin or cross it down till you get to maybe the top two, then flip a coin or whatever. Okay? So you got to pick one. Just pick one. So if you had a list of intentions like my intention this month is to watch my spending habits. My intention this month also was to take more initiative in expressing physical affection with my partner. My intention is to be more decisive in my business so I get some clients or I make some money or whatever that is. Like you wrote a bunch of things down, hopefully, during the last video, the last time we met. So now during this phase, the waxing crescent, in order to manifest, you gotta pick one of those things to focus on for this month. And the reason why we kind of do the brainstorm is so that you start rattling off these ideas, because for a lot of folks, they'll write down a big to-do list. And that's what we tried to avoid last time. But they write a big to-do list of all these little things that they think that they should be doing. And they create a list of all these things that they got to do. And then they get overwhelmed because that list is very long and it seems like it's going to be never ending, right? So now with this waxing crescent, we are being asked by the universe to sit down and say, okay, so what is really a priority? Which of these things that I write down is really something that I really want, that is important and urgent? Okay? There's a lot of things that we want to do in life. There's a lot of goals that we have to set for ourselves, but sometimes they're not always the most important thing, right? Or they feel urgent, but they're not important, right? Or they feel really important, but they're not urgent. So what is the thing that is important and urgent? You need to get it done and it's important. What is a big thing? You take this and it'll start to move your life forward when you do this kind of one thing, right? So we are being asked to pick just one thing that is important and urgent. One thing that is going to move our life forward this month. And if I would take a look at that intentions and find out which one's probably the scariest one or which one's the one you probably want to avoid doing, right? That's probably the one that you should pick, okay? So for this waxing crescent energy, all you're going to do is you're going to look at that list, pick one. So say we did that list before where you said, okay, I want to be more decisive in my business. Boom. Number 2, I want to be more physically affectionate with my partner. Boom. Whatever it is. Pick one of those 2. Maybe it's that you want to be more decisive in your business, right? Maybe you pick that. Okay, so during this manifesting part of the moon, you need to get very, 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 very specific. What does that mean? What does that look like? How does that feel? Okay, so being like, your intention is to be more decisive in your business. What does that look like? Does that look like anytime your partner comes up and says, hey, what kind of, I don't know what the business is, what kind of fabric should we use for the wedding tables or whatever? Like an example could be that comes up, and instead of sitting and thinking about it for a day, I'd be like, I don't know yet. I'm thinking maybe chartreuse, I'm thinking maybe mauve, I'm thinking maybe fuchsia, I don't know, right? Just pick one and just say, that's what you write down. You say, okay, so how this would look like is anytime my partner or my business partner comes and asks me a question, I'm able to give them a response the same day. Maybe it doesn't go to the next day. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the specificity. That's the kind of manifesting energy that you want to write down, because the more specific you can get, that is what the universe works with. Because if you're like, okay, I just want financial abundance, the universe has no idea what that means. It has no idea what that means. So the universe could take that and be like, okay, well, for this example, then why don't we just make it so that you lose your house, so that you're not paying bills? Then you won't have to worry about your finances, right? Like that could be something that happens. For an example, when my partner and I were trying to manifest our a new apartment when we moved out to LA, we said, okay, we want this to kind of be a hub for friends. We want this to be a space where people can come and they can have fun, and we can actually like connect and make friends and things like that, right? We called that in. But what we really wanted was to have a home and have a space that was very quiet, was very reserved, was very a sanctuary away from the city so that we could actually relax and wind down. And when we chose to have parties, or if we chose to be social, then we would be able to open up our home for friends to come over and things like that, right? So that's what we thought we were manifesting. But because we just said, okay, we want a hub, we want our home to be a hub, the universe took that and said, oh, okay, so we're gonna give you neighbors who have no filter, have no boundaries. We're gonna give you a bunch of different neighbors that they'll come and they'll look in your window and they'll talk to you through the window. They'll knock on the door when you're in the living room in your underwear, and they'll sit there and look at you and wave at you and ask you to come outside and talk. Or we'll have all these neighbors gather in the courtyard, and they'll be loud and they'll be partying and all these kinds of things when you're trying to work and things like that. So the universe was so confused because our ask wasn't very specific. And so what had happened is now, we're at a place where we're looking, okay, well, we need to move because there's no peace here. We're not actually able to wind down. And we haven't actually had any friends really come over to the house because we've been so busy working and things like that. So it's been nice to go out and have conversations with neighbors and have them be friendly and have them want to be our friends. But because of that manifesting, now we've been completely interrupted over and over and over and over and over again. We haven't really been able to sleep. We haven't been able to rest. The neighbors upstairs, they're always partying or whatever that is. And it affected us in a negative way. And that's because we weren't specific. So for this waxing crescent, take those intentions that you set for yourself and now really flesh it out. That's what this time is for. Really get into the details. What does financial abundance mean for you? What does a fair and balanced relationship look like to you? What are you doing? What are you wearing? How do you feel? What is a specific example that you can give to give the universe? You're giving your order to the universe, the divine feminine, right? Give your order and be very specific, okay? If you just order a hamburger, it doesn't know that you don't like pickles. It doesn't know that you want extra ketchup. It doesn't know that you want sweet potato fries instead of French fries. It's just gonna plop down a thing and it just hopes that you're happy with it, okay, right? So take those intentions, pick one of those intentions to focus on for the rest of the month, right? So during the new moon, we planted all those seeds. Now you get to pick which one you're gonna water. Which seed are you going to water? Which one are you going to focus on? And get really detailed, really flesh it out, okay? What do you want to create for yourself? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who is involved? Where are you? You need to write all of that down, okay? And then this is what you're manifesting, all right? And I do want to specify one thing, that manifesting is not the same as dreaming, okay? This is not just like making a dream, okay? This is actually making a call to action to the universe, where you say, okay, universe, this is what I'm asking for, and this is what I'm willing to do. So when I do this, I'm saying that this is what I want you to help me create, okay? So for another example, I told the universe I wanted to be an actor. And the universe said, okay, and it let me do theater. Let me do community theater in Colorado. And that wasn't exactly what I had wanted. And so I told the universe, I said, no. I want higher class, higher paid, higher quality performance, higher quality art in my acting. And the universe didn't know what it could give me based on where I was. And so I said, okay, universe, this is what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to do the hard bit and I'm going to uproot myself from my family, from my home, and I'm going to move to LA. And when I move to LA, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to move to LA. And then when I get there, I'm hoping that I'm going to get, this is what I'm calling in. I want to get a theatrical agent for myself. I'm going to enroll in an acting class. And this is how you know that I'm serious about how I want to manifest this higher acting realm. And so what happened was I made a call to action to the universe. I was very specific in what it was that I wanted for myself. And I me and my partner, we uprooted ourselves. We moved to Los Angeles like we said we would. We got an apartment like we said we would. I enrolled in an acting class like I said I would, right? Even if I really couldn't afford it, I figured it out, sold my car to do it. And because I did that, I did my first half of the contract, then the universe, within a very, very short window, within a week, I booked me a job, booked me an agent, and booked me a commercial. So this is what we're talking about. So this is the manifesting energy right here, right now. So again, pick one thing, be very specific, write it out, flesh it out, tell the universe this is exactly what I want. Exactly what I want, nothing else different. And don't assume that the universe is going to understand. Like, really be pedantic with what you were asking for. And then tell the universe, I'm going to do this, okay? So that you know that I'm serious. I'm going to take action, right? This is that kind of Mars, Jupiter, and Aries kind of energy that we're talking about. I'm going to take action. And then this is kind of what I'm asking for, all right? And then the universe is going to give this to you. But for right now, you don't have to take action on these goals yet, but you really need to flesh out these goals right now, okay? So that when we come to the first quarter moon, and I'll create a video for the first quarter moon, but that is when you'll take action. That is when you will do your half, and the universe will start doing its half. But right now, we just set our intentions, we brainstormed some ideas, and now we're picking one, we're fleshing it out, we're getting really detailed, and then we're going to send this order up to the universe. That is what today is all about. So, you got any questions for me? You want to workshop this with me? Reach out to me, kalond.irlanda@yahoo.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at Kalond_Irlanda, and you can DM me, and I will give you your true chart. We'll talk about where this kind of energy sits within your chart, how you can manifest this, what you can do with this energy, and I cannot wait to see what you do with the rest of this month. All right, bye.